Catch me getting wired at the Dutch, bro. Racks on racks on racks on racks on racks now. Racks now. Stacks on stacks on stacks on.
Alex and I'm a 14-year entrepreneur. So today I'm going to be sharing with you a little bit about what I'm doing right now and the business model I follow. A little bit about myself. So without further ado, let's get started. And if you do have any questions, feel free to ask me during my talk so I can address you, but I'll still in the context of the moment. So where did I get started with in entrepreneurship? Well, ever since I was a young boy, I always had a desire to do something big, to change people's lives. So one day, actually coming back from my old church at home, I just found a £1 coin in a parking machine. But this time, it felt a little bit special. I felt like I had to do something with it. So this was at the beginning of year 7. And so I brought that £1 coin into school the very next day. And what I did is I went into my local farm foods. I bought a 7-pack of chewits for £1. And just like you may have assumed, I sold each one of those packs for 30p. And within 20 minutes of walking into school, and they're all gone. And I remember feeling like, wow, I just made £1 by virtually doing nothing. And so I did this for a few weeks until it finally struck me. Hey, maybe I should sell a combination of sweets at a higher price. And so just to keep things short, I ended up going to Poundland every single day for the next year of school straight, buying 5 packs of sweets, mixing them up, putting them into 10 boxes, selling each box at £1. This of course went really well for me. I even ended up going to the Croydon sweet wholesaler just to buy sweets in bulk, bringing their costs even more and upping my game with a whole new variety of sweets, as well as those really cool pick and mix bags, which everyone seemed to love. So at this point I felt really motivated and inspired, and I felt like I could do anything because my school business was doing good. And so I asked myself, what's the next big thing I could do? And this was the time that Pokemon Go had just come out. So Pokemon toys, plush dolls, things like that were really trending. So I did the smartest thing I could think of. I found cheap suppliers for these items on eBay and sold them on Amazon at a marked up price. And so I did this for the whole of the summer, and it was working really well for me. Until, unfortunately, my Amazon account got banned because I had a return rate of over 1%, which my dad was really angry with at the time because I just got his Amazon account permanently banned. But I didn't know back then, but what I was actually doing was dropshipping. Now, dropshipping is the art of taking a product from a cheap supplier or wholesaler, marking up the price and putting it on your store. So this means you don't have to see the item or touch it, yet you can still sell it. So one of the main advantages about dropshipping is that you don't have to keep inventory or stock in your house or garage. So a huge problem new businesses face is that they have a huge upfront cost. As well as this, the owners of the business don't even know what items might sell. So they might just buy an item and put it up on display, hoping someone buys it, which is kind of a bummer. So in dropshipping, there are only 4 to 5 steps you need to take in order to set up a store and start making money by selling items. And I'm going to be going over these steps next. But just to break them down to you guys right now. First of all, it's setting up your store. Second, it's finding a product. Third, it's the marketing and advertising. Fourth, it's the profit and pricing. And fifth, is the fulfilment and shipping. So first of all, setting up your store. So I run a store where I sell these items, and it's called thecoollife.co.uk. And it's based on a platform called Shopify. Have any of you heard of Shopify before?
Yeah.
So Shopify is primarily known as an e-com website design platform. So most of you probably heard of Wix and WordPress, right?
Yeah.
So Wix and WordPress host different websites, and like that on Shopify you can build e-com websites. So Shopify is the most advanced platform in which dropshipping takes place. So it's the go-to platform because it has the most advanced apps and the most advanced features. And it's got around 600,000 users to date right now. So my online store is based on Shopify, and you can basically set up a store and just simply add products to your store and sell them through the Shopify platform. So second, it moves me on to finding a product. So I source all my products from a website called Aliexpress. Have any of you heard of Aliexpress before?
Yeah.
So Aliexpress is also basically a Chinese wholesale website where dropshippers connect with Chinese wholesalers as well as wholesalers in other countries such as other Asian countries and occasionally US, Russian and Spanish factories as well. So what we can do on Aliexpress is find all sorts of deals, all sorts of items that these suppliers have been posting. And what a dropshipper does is keep an eye out at what items have been selling well. So on each individual Aliexpress item, you can see the amount of orders it has. So let's say 1 week ago, an item only had 100 orders. You see, it's 7 days later, it has 1,000 orders. You immediately know it's got 900 orders in the last 7 days. So there's a potential for it to be dropshipped. So you're always keeping an eye out for that. And then if you start putting it on your store, and you might start selling those items. So another way I go about finding items is actually using social media, and particularly Instagram. So I look at Instagram pages and see what kind of ads and promos they're posting. Now I'll be going into marketing next, but really, I'm always following these big bean pages with a couple million followers. And if I see an ad posted 4 or 5 times, I know, of course, this person must be making money off this particular ad or product, or else they wouldn't be posting it over and over again. So that brings me on to my third point, marketing.
You're doing well, by the way.
Yeah, extremely well.
So, with dropshipping, most of you heard of the 80-20 principle?
Yeah.
So what the 80-20 principle basically states is that 20% of your actions result in 80% of your results. So you just focus on those 20% of your actions. So with dropshipping, 20% of the business is actually setting up your website, dealing with suppliers and stuff like that. Does anyone want to guess what the 80% is?
Profit.
No, it's actually the marketing, the advertising behind the business. So, see, anyone can sign up for a free trial on Shopify, create an online store, but that doesn't mean they'll make any money. So you have to focus on how you're planning to bring in traffic to the website and how you plan to market it in order to be successful. So what I've been doing recently to maximize the amount of people my site reaches is by utilizing Instagram influencers. Now, an Instagram influencer is basically a person who has built up influence for the following that they have. So we all probably follow a famous celebrity or footballer, and they get paid big money by brands such as Fashion Nova and Dollar Shave Club for just to promote or feature their items on a post. But the influencers I work with are anonymous, meaning you don't know the face behind the page. So these can be meme pages with a couple million followers, or niche pages like horse or football pages with a couple 100,000 followers. So what I do is I go ahead and DM those pages, and for those of you who don't know what that stands for, it's direct message, and I ask them for the prices for shout out. So you might be thinking, these people probably get hundreds of requests on a daily basis, so why would they reply to me? That's a good question. So I start off all my messages with a little fire emoji. Then I write in big capital letters, business related, so immediately they're more inclined to opening my messages, because of course Instagram is their way of getting paid and it's their business, so they're always looking for new clients. So from there, we do some quick negotiation and we get a deal going fast, because I don't want to spend too long going back and forth with prices. Actually, when I first started Shopify Dropshipping, I would spend 2 weeks just negotiating one single deal with influencers, until they ended up blocking me because they were fed up of negotiating down to the pennies. So nowadays, what my negotiations would look like is if an influencer replies to me saying, hey, a post is $200 for 12 hours, I might just say back to them $100 for 8 hours to test your page. And just like that, we get a deal going. So for the last 2 months now, I would say, I've been getting up 3 to 5 promos every single day, testing new items, because I always want to see the next big trend, the next big thing popping up, as well as winning products in the past. So, you might be asking, how much do I actually pay these influencers? Well, let's take the example of a personal brand. Let's say Dele Alli, who, as most of you know, plays for a very disgusting football team. Hopefully there are no Tottenham fans here today. So, let's say Dele Alli had 10 million Instagram followers, and a meme page had 20 million Instagram followers. Dele Alli would still charge 10 times more for a promotional post on his page, just because he is who he is, and he has that connection and relationship with his followers. But a meme page, like the followers of the page, don't really know who's behind the page, so they can't really connect. So let's say someone's promoting a hat on Dele Alli's page. Tottenham fans might be saying, hey look, my hero, Dele Alli, he's wearing this hat, I better go buy it. Or on a meme page, the followers might just see this random guy wearing a hat. That doesn't mean anything to them, so why would they go buy it? So like that, the general rule of thumb is traffic from a personal brand page will convert much more higher and better than from a meme page. So that still brings us back to the question, how much do I pay these meme pages? Well, a big misconception people have, and are still preaching on YouTube nowadays, is that you look at the amount of followers a page has. And I originally thought this, but it turned out later to be wrong. Instead of looking at the amount of followers a page has, I have to look at their engagement. So I'll give you an example of what I've come across recently. A page with 10 million followers can only be getting 50,000 likes per post, which is really bad. So what this tells me is that they probably bought a lot of followers, they have fake followers, and the audience is not engaged. But a page with 10 times less followers, 1 million followers, can be getting 100,000 likes per post. So this tells me that the audience is more engaged and more likely to convert. So with that information, I base the amount I pay these influencers off their likes and engagement. So you'll typically see me paying $2 to $3 per 1,000 likes on the page. So if they get 50,000 likes, I pay anywhere from $100 to $150.
So could I ask, how
Yes.
do you value the marketing? So let's say you put an advert on for 8 hours for the latest electronic gadgets
Yeah.
that you're dropshipping,
Yeah.
and you say, well, I'm going to pay X to this company or this individual, then how do you say that's got me like 20 more sales than I would have had before or something? How do you know what the engagement level is with your own products?
So you can always keep an eye out of how many sales a certain ad is bringing you. So let's say if I'm just testing a new product and I test it on a page and I get 100,000 likes on average, and then maybe I only got 20 sales. So that tells me, okay, so 1 sale per 5,000 likes.
So how do you know how many sales you got from people seeing that? Is there
Yeah,
like
from the
a
Shopify platform we can see how many orders we've received.
from a particular ad?
So normally I only run, when I'm testing a new product, I run it by itself and I can see what items there.
Right, so there's
Yes.
nothing else
Yeah, 'cause
on.
if I run loads at one time, then I won't know which one's
So
been
you don't
sold.
have sort of underlying coding features and so to identify.
Yeah, so we can see what orders been sold, what items been sold. So another benefit about the Shopify platform is that you don't have to code anything like Wix or WordPress. It's just simple drag and drop editor, which is really easy to set up and use. So is there any other questions that you guys want to
Yeah, how much money are you making
ask? Definitely a full-time income, yeah.
then? You need backing,
He's gonna say, talk to my dad.
Okay, so step number 4, profit and pricing. So if you're going to ask me how much should I sell an item for or mark it up by, it's actually a really difficult question to answer because it really depends on what you're selling. So let's say if you're selling some sort of jewellery item, let's say a ring or something, you can find these items on Aliexpress for really cheap prices. So you can mark it up by 10 times and no one really know the difference because that's what jewellery is like worth nowadays. But let's say if you're selling a watch, you can mark it up by 20 times just to give it that luxury vibe because they're still very cheap on AliExpress. But when I'm looking to sell items, because I mostly advertise on Instagram, I know my demographic is mostly teens, people from 18 to 30-ish. So I don't want to sell items that are too expensive. By too expensive, I mean over the £20 mark, £25 mark. So I'm always looking for things on AliExpress that cost less than £5 to £10. Because if they're more than that price, then it'll be hard to advertise to the younger generations, who are obviously where the majority of my sales come from. So I'm always looking to get a minimum of a £10 profit per unit. Because if it's less than £10, then I would have to sell a lot of volume in order to make my money back. If it's more than £10, then I would just hope someone buys a lot of that particular product in order to make my money back. So a general rule of thumb that Shopify stores go by is that you should have a 30% net profit. So let's say if you're making £10,000 a month in gross revenue, you would expect to make out £3,000 a month in profit. So that's typically what I'm coming out as well. Do you have any questions about that? Okay, good. So another thing you might notice when you're running your Instagram influencer ads, which is primarily where I do my advertising, is that most of the sales, in fact 60% of your sales, will come from the United States, because they're one of the biggest countries and they have the most online shopping generation. So one of the things a top tip that I recommend for you to do is to set up your store in US dollars. And the reason I say that is because, of course, you have to pay transaction fees and currency conversion fees depending on what currency your store is set up in. So let's say if you're set up in Great British pounds, only orders from Great Britain won't have a significant fee compared to orders from a different country, because from the other countries you have to pay this conversion fee. So if you set it up in US dollars, then all the orders from the USA, you won't have to pay as much of a conversion fee. So that's just a top tip. So step number 5 is shipping and fulfillment. So there are many apps on the Shopify platform. Shopify has its own app store that you could use to fulfill your orders. So basically, with dropshipping, all you need to do is, put the item on your store, and as soon as someone places an order, you just take the information and you send it to the Aliexpress supplier. So this can be done with a simple one-click process, and it does take some time if you get quite a lot of orders. And recently, I've been outsourcing it to a VA in the Philippines to do that work for me. But all you need to do is just simply take your customer's shipping address and just send it to the Aliexpress supplier. So one of the main disadvantages with dropshipping is actually the shipping time. Now, for those of you who don't know what e-packet is, it's basically the fastest and most affordable method of shipping from China to any other country. So even with e-packet shipping, it takes an average of 12 to 20 days just for a package to arrive to the USA. And we know with Amazon, of course, it takes they have next day delivery. So we can't compete with Amazon with shipping times. But what we've actually learned is that as long as you're upfront and straightforward with your customer, that okay, sometimes it might take up to a month for your order to arrive, then they'll be perfectly fine with it. And sure, you might see a little bit of less customers and a conversion rate drop, but as long as you're straightforward with them, they won't mind. And of course, there are those odd 1 or 2 customers who will email you 1 week later saying, "Why haven't I received my item?" But again, that's something you just have to put up with. So,
Sorry.
Yeah.
How much time do you spend with that doing this? What time does it take?
So on a school day, I would say in the morning I might spend an hour and 30 minutes just looking at Instagram and what ads are posted.
Yeah.
After school, I would say from 5:30ish to 7, I'll be working on getting some influencer deals going. After 7, I would do a little bit of homework, if I have any. And then...
I'll do my homework, a little bit of it.
And then from 7 to like 9:30, I'll just be maybe watching a few YouTube videos, learning new strategies, or maybe, just learning new
What's
things.
your biggest plan? Where do you see this taking you?
So with e-com, I'm definitely looking to build up more brands, more long-term brands. And I really want to master advertising and learn how to do, different types of like Facebook advertising, Google advertising. And that's really what I'm looking to do in the future as well.
You've got to do it. Totally impressed. Very impressed. Yeah.
So do you have you set up a company, or are you just personal?
I haven't set up like LLC or anything like that yet, but it's probably something I should be doing soon. Yeah.
Be careful, right? The way you get more tax in the NHS.
That's what I was going to say. You probably have to know about like all the international taxes, and you probably have to be worried about what Trump is doing in terms of.
I would begin to see perhaps the need to have more than one head involved. With the various sort of channels and whatever, and researches that are different between them, you're presumably going to need to gradually get other people alongside you or under you.
You've got one of that.
Oh,
No, but I think Alex does have. You mentioned already you're outsourcing
Yeah.
some
So,
aspects, but
at-
you
yeah.
but
At the
go
moment,
on and
I'm just outsourcing the order fulfillment, but later I'll be looking to like do the customer service as well with all the emails which I'm managing myself right now, and obviously the influencer work, and yeah, there's definitely more jobs to be given. Okay, so next moves on to my experience with dropshipping. So I started dropshipping back in early November-ish, and back then I knew that Shopify gave free trials. So what I would do is I would sign up for a store on a free trial and see if I made any sales. If I didn't make any sales, I was too afraid to actually pay for a plan, which was $30 a month. So I would just close the store and start a new one. So like that, I kept on jumping from free trial to free trial, until finally I ran an ad that got me my first 2 sales back in November-ish. It was actually on Black Friday. So I ran an ad for this necklace, and it actually got me 2 sales. But unfortunately, I didn't make my money back. I actually lost $20 that day, so I closed that store as well. So I kept on doing this until mid-December. I actually ran my first profitable ad. So I was promoting a LED dog collar, and actually this was a free plus shipping item. So for those of you who don't know what free plus shipping is, it's basically when the product you're selling is advertised as free, but you charge people for the shipping, so like £9 for shipping, which is where you make your money. So I ran one of these ads on the dog page, and I made 5 sales, and I was so happy because I just ran my first profitable ad. And so about a week later, I decided to run the same ad on a few more dog pages, and within 2 days I had lost all the money I just made and even more. So I closed that store as well. So eventually my dad came back to me one day and said, the only way you'll be successful is if you actually start a store and pay for the plan. So this was near the end of December, and this was actually the start of the Cool Life. So I just the trial for the Cool Life had just finished, and I was afraid that will I make any money? Will I not make any money? But it turned out good. So I stayed with it, and for the last 6 months I've been focusing on Instagram influencers, learning how to do paid traffic and stuff like that. And I'm just happy that I've stayed with it and not given up. Because if I kept on jumping from free trial to free trial, I wouldn't have learned. So as long as you put the time in, you learn, and you don't give up, then it's all good. So yeah.
that is a question.
Can everyone do it? I have no idea of Shopify. I'm doing something similar, but I have no idea with the Shopify. Can everyone do it?
I think Shopify definitely can be done by anyone and everyone. So as long as you put in the time and the work, it can be done. So Shopify is known to be one of the easiest business models to get started because, of course, there's basically no upfront cost other than the advertising. And as long as you focus on developing your skills and you keep on learning how to market, how to find new products and stuff like that, then it can be done, of course. So that brings me on to my final point. Why should you get started? So it can be done by anyone, like I said. I mean, I'm 14 and I'm doing it right now, and you can manage your time very easily by doing it. So I still have school and other commitments, but I can spend 3 hours a day and still run a successful Shopify dropshipping store. So 6 months ago, back in December, November, I didn't even know what Instagram was, and all my friends were on it. But within 6 months, I managed to learn everything about Instagram, and now I need like a master at Instagram. I know exactly how things work. And of course, I'm still developing my skills, but it tells you in just a short time frame compared to other businesses, you can really get started and running fast. So yeah, and I think the best way to get started is just to dip your feet in, and regardless of whether you fail or succeed, as long as you dip your feet in and get started, you won't know. If you just stay where you are, there's a saying that says if you're just staying where you are, you're actually moving backwards. So if you dip your feet into new things and just get started, you're likely to, be more likely to be successful. So yeah, and my last point is you have to focus on developing your skills. So even if you're not profitable for the first month or the first 2 months, as long as you focus on developing your marketing skills, and as long as you are good at marketing, you know that skill can be used in later situations in life. And so you just need to focus on building your different skills in the business, and you could be using that in different aspects in your life as well. So, thank you very much for this opportunity.
Market crashed after 07. Orange hat kid, but the money color green mile. Meanwhile, I will diss Sunny with a freestyle. Please now, put those grills down. Yes, I wear orange fits, orange wrist, plus the orange whips. Who you think you got your color from? It came from me, kid.